Start. Uh, just for clarification, by where I'm from, you mean my country of birth or where I'm currently at? Uh, okay. Okay, I'll try to give the short story. Okay, hi, I'm Daniel. I'm the 2011 winner of the Dell Social Innovation Challenge with a project called TakaTaka Solutions. Um, I'm currently based in Nairobi, but I grew up in Germany, Kenya, and Switzerland, and part of my family is also from Tanzania. Well, I kind of thought before that Texas is just like desert and oil, but like Austin is like a really, really, really cool city. And that was like one of the coolest weekends I've had. I mean, just like the music scene in Austin, meeting amazingly inspiring people, especially the other finalists, then having mentoring sessions all weekend, the kind of excitement building up towards the day, a lot of support, advice given by various people, experts. So it was one of the best weekends I've had. I mean, I shouldn't be saying that, but I think I applied about 1 hour before the deadline and spent not very much time on the first round application. So clearly, I didn't think I had any chance of proceeding anywhere. But at the time, it looked like a really cool competition. What I especially liked about it that it was very international. I mean, my feeling and still today is that like a lot of social innovation awards are geared towards American students, mainly like MBA students in the US, who are kind of just getting out of their program. So this seemed like a more of a supporting initiative and much more with a global focus and asking for people to apply from all over the world. And obviously, I mean, the price sum of $50,000 is quite high. So I would be lying if I would say that this didn't play a factor when I, submitted the initial application. Yeah. Well, it was kind of funny because I mean, my company is called TakaTaka Solutions, and when they announced the winner, I mean, it was like, I mean, one of those like movies. I mean, it was like there were five finalists. You were starting with like the third persons, a lot of talking, a lot of thanking, and then the second up winner, and then finally the first winner, and then they just said TakaTaka instead of TakaTaka Solutions. So I think it took me about 30 seconds to realize that I'd won. um, but no, I was really, I thought I'm not like a big fan of like standing in a lot of people and giving a short thank you speech, but it was very enjoyable. But I had high hopes because I finished my presentation of the final of the pitch. So there were 15 minutes pitches to judges and then 15 minutes question and answers. So I'd finished my 15 minutes pitch with a Shakira video claiming that she was talking about in her song Waka Waka the need for waste management in Africa. So I had hoped that that might help, and apparently it did. So I should thank her kind of for that. Thank you, Shakira. Awesome job. Yeah, I mean, as I said, it wasn't like kind of an enlightening moment where one day I woke up at 5 in the morning and had this idea, TakaTaka Solutions. So it was more, I mean, I had grown up here. I came back after studying for a while, and I felt like this, let's call it connection, to kind of stay here and start some kind of social business or business with a social and environmental impact. but I really didn't have an idea where and what sector that would be. And then I kind of stumbled upon waste management because we had a waste management problem where I was staying. And then my parents liked the idea, surprisingly, and just kind of supported me researching the waste management market in Kenya as well as in Europe for about more than a year. So it was like a very systematic market research, meeting NGOs, government, recycling industries, visiting dump sites, youth groups, and all of that. And that's how slowly the idea or the current business model emerged of TakaTaka Solutions. So it was quite like kind of a systematic market research approach that led to the idea. So basically, that was the prize money was actually the very, very first funding that TakaTaka Solutions got. So literally, it helped us start, and it convinced me that now I had some support, I had some money, I could go back to Kenya and start the project. Specifically, I mean, we funded the initial composting facility in a lower income area in Nairobi to kind of test the basic model in terms of working with youth groups, gaining clients who never had waste collection services, getting them to separate their waste, producing organic fertilizer. So it was that kind of capital expenditure of the composting facility as well as initial operational expenditures in terms of buying other smaller item equipment and financing salary, because clearly in the beginning, if you're testing a very, very new model, you're not going to make money anytime soon. So you kind of need some kind of cushion to yeah, proceed and progress. I mean, I think that was the first business plan competition I was ever at, so I kind of absolutely didn't expect that we were treated like VIPs, and was everyone like people, and especially like I hadn't known how much Dell as a company was involved in the award. So like there are a lot of Dell employees around, and they're always, I think they were almost more excited than the finalists about the whole thing. They're super enthusiastic, and everyone was like tremendously nice, wanting to know what we're doing, what our plans were, offering their help. And so I think the most surprising and amazing thing was that real kind of support, friendliness, and support network that was present, and especially through the Dell employees. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and which I didn't really understand at the time, was not so much the money, although obviously that was also up there, but mainly the recognition that came with the award. I mean, because after, I mean, $50,000 is a lot of money, but still, in most cases, it's not like enough to take a business forward for a longer time. But just like winning and being able to say that TakaTak Solutions won the biggest student social innovation challenge globally, then suddenly after that there are a lot of more interest from even local NGOs to being able to speak to the government agencies in Kenya, to getting interest from foundations and even investment funds. So at a very early stage, so it's like a massive kind of point or voucher of credibility that is given. I think that's like the single biggest benefit of winning or even being like a finalist of the Dell Social Innovation Challenge. I mean, other factors you asked me to name three would definitely be. I mean, $50,000 is obviously also a lot of money, so that kind of plays a role too. But also I think, and again, that's not something I realized even the first time I was there. Like I'm still very much in contact with people from the Dell Social Innovation Challenge. Um, One organizers even on TakaTaka Solutions advisory board. So there's kind of a very continuing relationship and a lot of contacts and networks and support that is still coming almost 1.5 years after the award from like the, let's call it Dell DISA, Dell Social Innovation Network. So that has been also tremendously helpful. Um, Good question. I think it's more. I think it's just like a level of confidence where you're like, just the way even you're writing an email or the way you're talking to people, it just like, they'll immediately understand that you're coming from somewhere and you're just not anyone who has a random idea that most likely won't fly or might just fly, but it's just someone who's like already achieved something and who knows what he's doing. So it just kind of changes the way you approach things and the way you speak to other people. Um, okay. So I think catalytic is still yeah, is the word that comes to my mind first. So yeah, catalytic. Then young, energetic, fun, and I guess yeah, incubator would be another good word to um, and mentorship would be two other words that come to my mind. So I don't get your question. No, I mean the way I did the yeah, yeah, I get your question now. No, I mean the way I did the market research was like, where's the problem and what can be done to kind of solve or try solving the problem. So I think it's just, I mean, that's kind of a it's a good question, but um, well, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, growing up here, I mean, you realize that, a lot of people have, well, very little income. Well, trash is a very big problem. Environments get polluted. So I mean, I'm just seeing business as a means to solve problems. And in the sense, like through business, hopefully the idea can become fully sustainable. It can finance itself and it can scale. So I think the way I'm coming from is that, in many cases, it's great to help and want to help. But, then you throw some money at a project and after a while, the funding runs out and that's that. And some NGOs, made some good workshops, and the question is, was the problem really solved? So, and I'm seeing that business, I mean, it probably takes a lot more testing and a long time to get the model really perfectly right. But after that, once that is the case, then you have a solution that not only helps solve the problem, but can actually scale and by itself, and not only then help or offer waste collection services to 10,000 people, but hopefully to 100,000 or a million people and more. And that's when it really becomes interesting from an impact perspective, because that's when you're making change happen. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. So I'm just seeing business as kind of a means to an end, and the end is to solve a problem. And it's just also a really fascinating way of doing it, because it just makes it much more complicated and much more challenging, but that's kind of the interesting part of it. Yeah, I'm on 1342, so if you want to squeeze in a quick question. Stop recording. I press stop. Should I press stop? Okay.